When I was young, I lived with my grandmother in a house surrounded by an aura of mystery. The land we lived on had a reputation. A strange energy lingered there. Over the years, stories circulated about 7 spirits roaming the area, and unsettling dreams became a regular occurrence for me. I was timid, often feeling vulnerable to the unseen forces around me. The nights were filled with shadows that seemed to move on their own, and whispers echoed in the silence. My grandmother would often say, "You're just imagining things," but deep down, I knew it was more than that. These small signs foreshadowed a series of encounters that would leave an indelible mark on my life. One particular story haunted me growing up, the tale of a red tombstone said to house a restless spirit. Locals claimed it was cursed, and anyone who disturbed it would face misfortune. I avoided the area as much as I could, but the memory of that tombstone stayed with me. "Why are you so afraid of it?" my grandmother asked one evening as we sat on the porch. "It's just an old story," she added with a chuckle. "Spirits don't hurt anyone who respects them." "I don't know, Grandma," I replied, looking out at the darkened field. "I just feel like it's watching." She laughed softly, but the flicker of unease in her eyes betrayed her true feelings. It wasn't until I went to college that the strange occurrences intensified. I stayed in a dormitory, where every room seemed to carry an oppressive energy. At night, I would hear faint sounds, the ringing of a phone that wasn't there, the soft knock of an unseen hand on the door. On several occasions, I'd wake up to find my belongings mysteriously moved. These weren't isolated incidents. My friends, too, felt the eerie presence, their own nights disturbed by the same inexplicable noises. "Did you hear that last night?" my roommate asked one morning, rubbing his eyes. "Hear what?" I replied, though I already knew. It sounded like someone walking around, but when I checked, no one was there. I nodded. "Yeah, it's been happening a lot lately." The tension peaked when I rented a room in a small lodging area after leaving the dorms. The compound was eerily silent, except for a peculiar sight, a large red-colored tombstone right in the center of the property. Against my better judgment, I moved into a room nearby. From the moment I arrived, the air seemed heavier, and an unshakable feeling of being watched settled over me. "Are you sure about this place?" my friend asked, helping me unpack. "It's cheap and close to campus," I said, trying to sound confident. "I'll be fine." But even as I spoke, I couldn't shake the uneasy feeling. One day, I joined a group of neighbors who were casually picking fruit from a starfruit tree near the tomb. I climbed up, plucked a fruit, and ate it, unaware of what I had just done. Almost immediately afterward, I fell seriously ill. Over the following months, my life unraveled. I experienced a string of misfortunes, fevers, mysterious ailments, and strange accidents. Even simple tasks, like traveling to class, became fraught with problems. My scooter would frequently break down, and fights with friends seemed to come out of nowhere. It felt as though I was cursed. "You don't look well," one of my professors said, pulling me aside after class. "Is everything okay?" "I don't know," I admitted, tears welling up. "It feels like everything is falling apart." Desperate for answers, I visited a temple where a spiritual guide revealed something chilling. I had been marked by a lingering spirit. The guide explained that my sickness and misfortune were linked to my encounter at the tomb and the starfruit tree. "You must make amends," the guide said firmly. "Offer your apologies and seek forgiveness." That was when it all began to make sense. The dreams, the presence, and the eerie occurrences that had followed me for years. Not long after, I began having vivid dreams that were more than just nightmares. A shadowy figure started appearing in my room. At first, it stood at the edge of my bed, watching silently. One night, I woke up paralyzed, unable to move as the figure crept closer. Its presence felt human, the warmth, the smell, but it was unmistakably something else. It leaned in, almost embracing me, before I managed to break free of the paralysis. "Who are you?" I whispered in the dark, my voice trembling. There was no answer, only the suffocating silence. In another dream, the shadowy figure revealed its face. It was a man, young, sorrowful, and strangely familiar. He didn't speak, but his eyes seemed to plead with me. "What do you want?" I asked, my voice cracking. "Why are you doing this to me?" The encounters became so frequent that I sought help from another spiritual practitioner. They told me that the spirit had developed an attachment to me, believing I was its companion from a past life. "It doesn't wish to harm you," the practitioner explained, but it cannot let go. The situation escalated further when I returned home to my family. Animals around me began acting strangely. A once friendly dog wouldn't come near me, and even my family's cat avoided me like I carried some invisible threat. Late one night, I awoke to find a shadow hovering near my bedside. I was too exhausted to react, and the entity seemed almost sorrowful as it vanished into the dark. I saw it again. I confided to my grandmother the next morning. It feels like it's trying to tell me something. She placed a hand on mine, her face grave. You must find a way to let it go. Despite numerous rituals, offerings, and attempts to sever this connection, the spirit's presence lingered. Friends advised me to relocate, to escape the area entirely, hoping a change in environment might help. When I moved, things improved slightly, but traces of the spirit's attachment followed me. Dreams of shadowy figures persisted, though they became less vivid over time. Years later, after countless attempts to find peace, I finally met a practitioner who performed a powerful cleansing ritual. They explained that the spirit had clung to me because of unresolved ties, but it had finally moved on. The cleansing involved chants, offerings, and symbolic gestures that felt like they reached deep into my soul. When it was over, I felt lighter, as though a weight had been lifted. "You are free now," the practitioner said with a reassuring smile. "But always remember to respect the unseen." Months later, I revisited the area near the red tombstone, not to challenge fate but to understand it. As I stood there, a faint breeze stirred the air, and for the first time in years, I felt no fear. It was as though the lingering energy had finally dissipated, leaving behind only the quiet of the present. To this day, I tread carefully in places that carry an air of mystery. I've learned to respect the unseen, to never underestimate the weight of the spiritual world. If you found this story chilling, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more tales of mystery and the unexplained. Leave a comment below with your thoughts or share your own experiences. Until next time, stay safe and always be mindful of the world beyond our own.